1980 saw the coming of the Houston Astros, whose rise began in the offseason with the arrival of Nolan Ryan, a deal that made him baseball's first million-a-year player. The Astros also signed former Cincinnati Red Joe Morgan, who was already a bona fide star at second base.
I'd already hit 300. I'd already been the most valuable player in the league twice. I'd already won 2 world championships. The only concern I had was for the team.
Houston's biggest concern coming into the 1980 season was the Los Angeles Dodgers. Unlike the newly competitive Astros, the Dodgers had a long history of winning. And even though they were coming off a third-place finish, they were no less confident than usual.
We have the best team right now on paper in the National League Western Division. If everyone stays healthy and we do the job that we're capable of doing, there's no question in my mind, or no doubt in my mind, that we're going to win the whole thing.
Lope's prediction held up through the first half of the season, when the Dodgers went into the All-Star break in a virtual tie for first place. Their great pitching was exemplified by Jerry Royce's gem against the Giants on June 27th at Candlestick Park.
Little nubber back to Royce. He picks it up. He's got a no-hitter. Jerry Royce, at 31 years old, has done it.
With the team's fortunes riding high in the first half, the Dodgers boasted a prominent contingent at the All-Star game in Dodger Stadium. 4 players in the starting lineup. The Astros, meanwhile, had their ace on the mound.
Pitching from the Houston Astros, the first right-hander in league history to strike out 300 batters in one season, J.R. Richard.
J.R. Richard was a big reason the Astros went into the All-Star break tied for first place. And it didn't take any time for American League hitters to find out how dominating he was. But what no one knew then was that Richard would suddenly and mysteriously lose it all. On July 14th, just days after the All-Star game, while throwing on an off day, Richard had a stroke that threatened his life and all but ended his career.
All of a sudden I felt a loud ringing in my ear, a real loud high-pitched tone ringing in my ear. Then I felt nauseated. Then I just laid down on AstroTurf. I remember the guys talking, picking me up, putting me in the ambulance. I remember talking to the guys on the way to the hospital. I guess I just went out.
Richard was hospitalized that day and again at the end of July. By then, it was clear he wouldn't be able to pitch the rest of the season, and it looked as though Houston's pennant hopes were dashed.
When we lost JR this year, it would have been very easy for our club to lay down and just die at that point until folded, but we didn't. We continued to fight, we continued to battle. We wanted to show that we have a good ball club.
Despite losing one of the game's most intimidating pitchers, the Astros stayed in the race. They played neck and neck with the Dodgers in September, finally overtaking LA at the end of the month. The race came to a head on October 3rd. Houston, 3 games up with 3 to play, took on the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Tommy Lasorda's team may not have had the odds on its side, but the Dodgers did have some 50,000 fans pulling for them.
The first night I stood on the steps and you could see the fans were, it was a Friday night, and they had been built up to the point that if we win 3, we have a 1-game playoff, and they were noisy, and I kind of stood on the steps and took a towel and kind of waved it, see if I got a response. And they started cheering, and we had a couple guys injured, so we needed what turned out to be the 10th man.
Come the 10th inning of the series opener, the Astros needed 1 more out. The score was all even at 2, and up at the plate, Joe Ferguson.
Here's Force to the windup and the pitch to Joe. Long fly ball away back. Cedeno at the warning track. Up in the air. Can't get it. Home run. Dodgers win. And the Dodgers win a dramatic come-from-behind victory over the Astros, who will have to wait another day. 3-2.
The next day, Steve Garvey gave the Dodgers a 2-1 lead when he bashed a 4th-inning home run off Nolan Ryan. It was all the Dodgers needed as they beat Houston for the 2nd straight day. And so the division title came down to the final game of the regular season, a must-win for the Dodgers. The game was excruciatingly tense. A pitcher's duel all the way to the 8th when the Dodgers put the tying run on first and Ron Say at the plate.
Garvey ready to go. Say waiting at the plate. Here's a pitch. Fly ball to deep left field. Left center. Going. Hit ball. Goal!
When we first went in there, we thought we had it. 3 games left, and we 3 games ahead. But to our surprise, they come back and beat us 3 straight games. And it's just show you shouldn't relax, no matter how many games you are ahead.
With the sweep by LA, the two teams would go at it one last time. The one-game playoff would be played at Dodger Stadium amidst a sea of Dodger blue. But that didn't discourage the Astros or Art Howe. His 3-run homer in the 3rd inning sprang open Houston's offense. The Astros scored 7 runs against a slew of Dodger pitchers and finally put a stop to L.A. Tommy Lasorda's Dodgers tried every which way to come back, but there was nothing doing against 20-game winner Joe Niekro.
We had put so much into the 3 games, I think we came out a little flat on Monday, even though it was a 1-game playoff. And we're geared up for the fastball and had to face Joe Niekro, and he had the knuckleball fluttering that day, and I think they got on us early and took out the 10th man, so to speak. But it was the greatest 4-game series I ever played in.
Here's the stretch and the pitch. Swung on a bouncing ball to Bergman at first. He stepped on the bag, and the Astros are the National League Western Division champions.
Division winners for the first time in the Astros' 19-year history.
There are some things that make sports enjoyable which don't have anything to do with which team won or lost. There are the great characters produced in sports, and this season's great character is a young fellow named Fernando Valenzuela, who has produced a kind of baseball fever known as Fernando Mania.
America in 1981 was a place and time when the pages in a folktale turned at the right pace. Faster than the evening paper, slower than a tweet, with space to soak in the wonder in every chapter.
It's a fairy tale so preposterous, Dodger fans dare not open their eyes. El Nino is Fernando Valenzuela.
Fernando Mania was more than one of the best stretches of pitching in baseball history.
Did you take it off this? Sold out tonight. Valenzuela's pitching.
It was an experience without compare, before or in the 4 decades since. A singular story that becomes more transcendent each time we tell it.
1981 will be the year of Fernando Valenzuela.
The left-hander from Echahuaquila, Mexico, captivated Los Angeles and ultimately the country with his extraordinary pitching, one-of-a-kind windup, and unassuming way.
And of course here today, a lot of folks have come in just to see the Mexican phenom Fernando Valenzuela, and why not? He's the hottest subject in baseball.
Fernando Valenzuela won his first 8 major league starts, the longest such streak since the end of World War II.
Struck him out, it's all over, and Valenzuela did it again.
His ERA was .50, an all-time record through that many starts.
Perhaps such early season hysteria could only be born in Hollywood. What else can be said but Viva Valenzuela?
The phenomenon began by accident, which was part of the charm. All-star left-hander Jerry Royce was supposed to start the Dodgers' 1981 opener, but strained a calf muscle during batting practice. So Tommy Lasorda summoned the 20-year-old Valenzuela. The result? A shutout victory.
Valenzuela delivers, through ball, got him swinging. What a way to start. Fernando Valenzuela in his first big league start pitches a shutout.
Valenzuela spun 4 shutouts before the end of April. No major league pitcher has thrown that many in a season since Felix Hernandez in 2012. And while Fernando Mania began in April, the fascination reached its apex in May. In those years, it was said, rather earnestly, that for sports history to be made, the New York press had to witness it. Thus, Valenzuela's May 8th start, a Friday night at Shea Stadium, was a bona fide baseball event.
And once again, a large crowd has come out, full of the question, is he for real?
Valenzuela, who hailed from a town of fewer than 1,000, had made it to Broadway. And nearly 40,000 New Yorkers witnessed yet another shutout by a 1-0 score.
Popped in the air, foul, and Fernando has his 5th shutout. Unbelievable.
Over in the NL, the Dodgers had the major's best record in the first half, but the split season meant fresh slates for every team, including the Astros.
For whatever reason, we just couldn't get things rolling in the first half, and I guess it was a blessing that we went on strike because it was a split season. We got things together the second half.
A big part of Houston's second half success was its pitching, a rotation with the lowest ERA and 3rd most strikeouts in the National League.
When you have a rotation of that magnitude, it gives you an opportunity not to have prolonged losing streaks. And we weren't a ball club that scored a lot of runs, so I think our strength was our starting pitching.
And their strong-armed ace was Nolan Ryan, whose career-best 1.69 ERA was tops in the league, and whose September no-hitter was remarkably the 5th of his career.
He got it! Nolan Ryan! No-hitter number 5.
Congratulations to you. Good luck to you the rest of the way. It's an important game, not only for the no-hitter today, but what it means to your ball club, and I think you never lost sight of that either. Thank you.
And Nolan Ryan, along with Sandy Koufax, only 2 men in baseball history to have pitched 4 no-hitters. And Joe, they tell us that 3 or 4 times this year when Nolan Ryan came out of the bullpen from warming up before a ball game, he had no-hit stuff.
I tell you, anytime he walks on the mound, you have to kind of look for it because he just throws that hard. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Landreau, who had the longest hitting streak in the major leagues last year with Minnesota. He had 31, but this time the curveball, the overhand curveball, the drop gets him.
Fastball.
He got him with the fastball in the grunt. 6 strikeouts. You heard it that time. He jammed him. Fly ball to right field. Guerrero.
Fastball. Wow.
Way high and outside, and he got him.
Whoa,
That's
that ball
7
exploded.
strikeouts. It really just went sailing out there.
Mercanti hit a cool 346 this year in the minor leagues with 1 home run and 58 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan gets strikeout number 8. So he will go into the 6th inning still with a no-hitter in his sight.
So that's what's happened here is happening here in Detroit. And for you fans watching the game in Houston, let's go back to see what's happening with that no-hitter.
All right, thank you, Merrill. Ron Luciano back here in the Dome. There's your score. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing. Davey Lopes leading this inning off. Runs the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes off Nolan Ryan, who has 8 strikeouts and allowed 3 walks. He just blew it by him. You bet the appeal goes down to the first base umpire, Joe West. So Nolan Ryan has strikeout number 9. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. The Astros, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Now it'll be Kenny Landreau, who was called out on strikes in the 1st inning and walked in the 3rd. Off the fist, the breaking ball up high, but it broke so sharply. Garner will throw on Landreau. There are 2 outs. Nolan Ryan has now retired 9 consecutive Dodgers. Last man to get on was Landreau back in the 3rd. The crowd is starting to feel a little bit of this because you could hear them applauding more and more each time that Ryan goes to 2 strikes. And for the first time on a routine ground out, you heard a little bit of a cheer. 2 outs. Dusty Baker. He's grounded out twice to second base. Big curveball from Ryan. Took a little bit off. 1 strike. Another breaking ball. Strike 2. Baker doesn't like it, but very quickly on 2 vicious curveballs, Nolan Ryan goes no balls and 2 strikes. Listen to the crowd. sixth here in the Astrodome as Ryan in the back of your picture strikes out 10 with a score here. Houston 2, Los Angeles nothing.
Garner has it. One out.
11 in a row now for Nolan Ryan.
Reynolds has it.
Whoa.
Got him.
Curveball once again. Show you how good Nolan Ryan's curveball is. That ball was a hanging curveball, but because hitters cannot look for it, he still gets the weak ground ball to short. Reynolds once again does not throw the ball well to first base. Continue to think he's got trouble with his arm. Ryan keeps on going.
Here's Socia. He struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. Hit deep to right center field. Poole going back. He makes the catch. That's the closest they've come to breaking a no-hitter. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here in the Astrodome. We welcome those of you watching the Detroit-Milwaukee game. Nolan Ryan going into the 8th inning has a no-hitter. He's facing Ron Renicky. Hopped up. Cruz. Reynolds. Cruz.
$14 in a row now retired by Nolan Ryan as Cruz waves Reynolds off.
Hot shot. Garner has it. 2 outs.
That may be as hard a hit ball has been hit in this game, and Garner very smartly, we talked about how smart a player he is. As the pitch was on its way, a breaking ball down and in, he had taken 2 or 3 steps to his left, playing the pitch in the situation, which allowed him to get that great jump. He really anticipated well.
Jay Johnstone, the pinch hitter, 2 outs here in the 8th. Ryan moving closer and closer, 4 outs away from a no-hitter, 1 out away from ending this 8th inning. That crowd reacting. Strike 1. They'll tell you whether it's a ball or a strike. Bouncing ball to Garner. Should be easy. He goes into the 9th inning with a no-hitter. Listen to the crowd. Tom Lasorda is going to his bench, and he'll have Reggie Smith hitting for Dave Lopes as Nolan Ryan goes out here in the 9th inning to try to nail down the 3 outs to give him the no-hitter. And even before the inning starts, this week's NBC Miller High Life player of the game is Nolan Ryan, and Miller High Life is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Nolan Ryan to the Special Olympics. And here we go.
Division Series out west featured a matchup of division rivals, the Astros and the Dodgers, who shared the same strength.
The Astros had good pitching and played great defense, and I think we matched them with the Dodgers with the same type of look.
And Game 1 unfolded predictably as a pitcher's duel between aces young and old.
This is quite a matchup. The kid, Fernando, against the veteran flamethrower.
34-year-old right-hander Nolan Ryan. It'll be Davey Lopes, Ken Landreau, and Dusty Baker in the top of the first inning.
When Ryan threw that no-hitter against the Dodgers, the curveball was the real devastating pitch. He was up around 97 miles an hour, but that's not unusual for him.
First pitch is a strike ball, and we're underway. Lopes batting .206. One.
Pretty good-looking curveball there. Might have been just a little bit high.
Strike, and the count goes to 1-2.
You can see what happens to a hitter facing Ryan. That time Lopes kind of looking for the fastball, and he was just way out in front of that curveball.
By the mound, Garner, second base. Good play to Cedeno, and Lopes is out. So Lopes opens the ball game with a bouncer by the mound, thrown out Garner to Cedeno. And here's Ken Landreau. Astros Cedeno at first, Garner second, Kiko Garcia at short, and Art Howe at third. And in the outfield, Cruz in left, Scott in center, Poole in right, with Ashby doing the catching. Ball one, the count to Landreau. 2 of his 7 home runs have come against the Astros this year.
Had a good series.
Rule and Nepper.
Good series out in L.A. for Landreau. He had been in a real bad slump, and he broke out of it.
By the mound, base hit to center. Finished the regular season with 98 hits. And here's Dusty Baker, who finished with 128 hits for the year, 4th best in the National League, and he is the 3rd leading hitter in the league with a .320 average. Bounder back to the hill. Ryan, shortstop Garcia won. Cedeno double play. Good play by Garcia in the middle of that double play. It goes 1-6 to 3, and the Dodgers are out in the first inning. Bottom of the first coming up. No score. Astros will have Terry Poole to lead off against Valenzuela. Strike. Poole hit .251 for the year. One ball, one strike.
Valenzuela features the fastball, curveball, and screwball. He'll use the curveball mostly against left-handers, the screwball against the right-handers.
Tap up the right side foul. Bob Lillis, the Astros first base coach, with the pickup.
Terry Poole had that outstanding championship series last year in which he hit over 500. He's been struggling off and on through this year, and I bet you Terry's got some memories of that championship series last year and hoping he can put it together again for this one.
Breaking ball, bouncer right side, fair ball, and Garvey makes the play unassisted. So Poole bounces out to first to open the Astro half of the first. It'll bring up the second baseman, Phil Garner.
Take another look at this windup. Valenzuela looks to the sky in the middle of his windup. He looks to the roof of the Astrodome here and then comes back down, but you can see he picks up the plate before he throws the ball.
Here's Garner. A little late, strike one. Count moves to 1-2. And Garner's out on strikes. The first one for Valenzuela tonight.
Yeah, they got him with the screwball. Garner was able to lay off a couple of screwballs that broke outside. That one, too, broke out of the strike zone, but Garner swung at it.
There's Ron Perinoski, the first-year pitching coach for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Perinoski used to give you a pretty good assortment of pitches.
He certainly did.
Here's Tony Scott now. Called strike. Perinoski was known to turn the baseball over.
Yes, he was. He had a big looping curveball, a little screwball. He'd move the fastball around. He wasn't quite as hard as Valenzuela.
Scott's behind the Dodger left-hander. 2 strikes.
I think another thing that's unusual about this young man is that mostly when you see a screwball pitcher, it's a veteran, a guy that's been around a while. It takes a little while to develop that pitch, and quite unusual to see a young guy throw it.
Scott is out on strikes, caught looking, and that retires the side. 1-2-3. Ball game moves into the second inning. We have no score. On to the second inning from the Astrodome tonight. No score. First game of the National League Western Divisional Championship Series. Steve Garvey, Rick Monday, and Pedro Guerrero for Los Angeles against Nolan Ryan. Looper to right, and Terry Poole is there to grab it. A looping line drive out there. Garvey's the first out. They'll bring up right fielder Rick Monday. Monday.
Blaine, you mentioned earlier that Ryan coming off of 3 complete games. That could help him. That proves that he's in a good groove and he's been pitching very consistently. But it also could mean that maybe he'll have trouble going the distance tonight. He might be a little arm weary.
Ball 1 the count.
Yeah, with the trade of Ken Landreau over to the Dodgers, Monday did not see much action in the first half, but since Ron Say has been hurt, he's been playing quite a bit as Guerrero has moved to third, and he's really been producing.
Ryan falls behind him, 2-0. Ryan is behind him, 3-0. Monday over the past 2.5 weeks or so hit .415, gathering 17 hits and 6 of them were home runs. Ryan misses for ball 4. So Monday's on. We'll bring up Pedro Guerrero.
Guy hit the Astros about as well as any Dodger this year. Hit .351 against them with 7 RBIs.
He did drive in more runs against the Astros than any other Los Angeles hitter. He hit well against everybody. Curveball, and Ryan misses. Ashby thought he had a strike.
Well, it'd be pretty hard to throw a curveball in a location that looked any better than that. I don't know where else it could be. If there's no strike zone there, where is it?
Foul ball out of play. 1-1. That's what Ashby was asking Jerry Dale.
Sometimes I think the umpires even guess on Ryan a little bit. His stuff is just so awesome that as a hitter, if you guess fastball and he throws the curve, forget it, and vice versa. But if you just stand there and don't guess and wait to see the ball, it's too late then, too. So just about have to guess and hope you guess right.
Check swing and a bouncer foul. 1-2.
Of course, against Ryan, you've got about a 50% chance of guessing right because he's basically a fastball curveball pitcher. He'll mix in an occasional changeup, maybe throw 5 or 6 of them during the course of the game, but you can normally guess fastball or curve and got a 50% chance of being right. Problem is, even when you're right, he's hard to hit.
Dodgers with Monday at first, and Guerrero's out on strike. First strikeout for Nolan Ryan. 2 gone in the inning, and the catcher Mike Scioscia will be the hitter.
One of the things that I think has marked Nolan's recent success is his command of that outside corner. That was a beautiful strikeout pitch to Guerrero.
Scioscia, the young catcher. Ball 1. Scioscia this year has emerged as the first string catcher for the Dodgers, unseating Steve Yeager. And of course, Joe Ferguson had been released and later signed on with California. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you wouldn't know it by looking at him, but Scioscia basically just a contact hitter and pretty much a singles hitter. He had just 10 doubles and 2 home runs. That's all the extra base hits he had during the course of the season, but he doesn't strike out much. He usually puts the ball in play.
Pops this one up. It's a foul ball. Halves going to chase it along with Ashby, but it's going to be out of play. Scioscia is out on strikes. Ashby down to Cedeno to complete the putout, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. Bottom of the 2nd inning coming up. Cruz, Cedeno, and Howe do for the Astros. No score. Jose Cruz will open the bottom of the 2nd inning. Cruz, Cedeno, and then Howe. Dodgers are the only hit so far. The Astros went down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 1st inning against Valenzuela. Jose Cruz, fly ball to left field on the first pitch, and Dusty Baker's there. 1 out.
Sometimes, Dwayne, it seems that the left-handed hitters get better swings at Valenzuela than the right-handers do, the screwball being such a devastating pitch against right-handed hitters.
Here's Cedeno. Cedeno came on and managed to hit left-handers better than right-handers, and that would ordinarily be the case for a right-handed hitter, except through the years, Cedeno has always managed to hit better against right-handed pitching than he has left-handed pitching. He finished the year at 271 overall and 317 against left-handers.
And 400 against Valenzuela, about the only guy on the Astros ball club and in the starting lineup tonight who has had any success at all against Valenzuela. He is 4 for 10 this year.
Notice Valenzuela, after Cedeno had taking his time getting in, Valenzuela then stepped down off the mound and rubbed up the baseball. Even though he's 20 years old, he'll enter into those games of attempted intimidation. Ball 1, the count to Cedeno. Good swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the Astrodome, a very spacious ballpark, and it's difficult to hit one out of here. That time, Cedeno gave it a little extra. He was trying to go deep.
Valenzuela. They list him at 180 pounds. 5'11". You go for that?
Well, if that's the way they list him, I guess I'll have to.
Cedeno bounces a base hit through the middle. And that's the first Astros hit of the game. One on, one out, and here's Art Howe. Valenzuela again to first, and Cedeno is back.
Cedeno finding it hard to time Valenzuela. On the last pitch to the plate, he was breaking back to first. That time he started to go towards second and had to jump back to first at the last minute.
Another move over there. Crowd beginning to become impatient with Valenzuela. Another toss to first. One more time. Valenzuela
continues.
Paying about as much attention to Cedeno as anybody we've seen.
And of course, he thinks Cedeno is running on his own. They don't think they have the Astros signs or anything. Cedeno is free to run on his own.
Now fly ball right center, not deep. Monday under it. 2 gone. So Cedeno heads back to first. He's there with 2 outs. And Kiko Garcia coming up.
Well, if he thought Cedeno was going to be running with 1 out, he's positive he's going to be running now with 2 out and Garcia up there. Garcia basically a singles hitter, and Cedeno would love to be on second base just in case he gets one.
Garcia takes the pitch out. Cedeno is back at first base. So the Dodgers doing a little guessing, and Cedeno had a notion about going. You'll see him here break towards second, and he sees the pitch out and decides to stop and try to scramble back to first. Good slide by Cedeno, getting in head first with that right hand on the bag, away from the tag. Cedeno's going, got a pretty good jump. Strike to Garcia, and Cedeno is safe at second.
You know, Dwayne, it looks like his ankle feels a lot better tonight.
We'll take another look. He did manage to get a pretty good jump on Valenzuela, something that has been a little difficult to do for him.
Yeah, he had an excellent jump that time. Good throw by Socia and an unbelievable pitch by Valenzuela. Screwball on the outside corner. He'd been doing nothing but throwing to first, and when he finally did throw home, he threw a perfect pitch.
Tap to third. Guerrero up with it. Cross to Garvey, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. Ball game moves on to the third. Russell, Valenzuela, and then Lopes due for L.A. No score. Dodger shortstop Bill Russell will open the third. Russell, pop up. Left side toward the bullpen. Foul ball. Garcia back there makes the catch. Kiko Garcia, the Astros shortstop tonight, takes care of that pop up in foul territory. Here's Fernando Valenzuela.
This guy can hit.
He has 16 hits for the year.
2 of those RBIs are game winners.
7 RBIs on 16 hits. Pretty good production. Into the seats, foul, strike 1. Tapper back to the hill. Ryan has it. And over to Cedeno, and Valenzuela is the second out in the third inning.
So look at the girders, the metal framework that supports the roof here at the Astrodome. Quite an amazing structure.
There's a great concept and a super facility all the way around, especially for spectators. Line drive to first, and Cedeno takes care of it. So we move into the bottom half of the third inning. We are still scoreless. Astro half of the third inning coming up, and Alan Ashby will open it against Valenzuela. Ashby, Ryan, and then Poole. Ground ball, shortstop, Russell to Garvey, 1 gone. So Ashby's out short to first, and Astro pitcher Nolan Ryan will come up there.
Number 34.
Ryan batting .216 with 11 hits. Nolan decided to go for the downs.
Yes, he did. Got a fastball and tried to ride it out of here, but couldn't connect.
2-2 the count. Ryan is out on strikes. That's the third strikeout for Valenzuela. He got Garner and Scott in the first inning. Now Ryan for the second out in the third. So the bases are empty with 2 outs. And the Astros will have the top of the order coming up.
Comes the screwball. The ball actually has a reverse rotation, almost the opposite of what the curveball would have.
Duel grounded out to Garvey his first time. Ground ball, second baseman Davy Lopes to Garvey, and the Astros go down 1-2-3 in the third inning. Rolling on to the fourth. Dodgers nothing, Astros nothing. Fourth inning coming up. Nolan Ryan has struck out 2 and walked 1 through the first 3, and he's given up 1 hit.
And fortunately, his pitching has been much better than his hitting was that last time up.
Now. He'll be facing Ken Landreau, Dusty Baker, and then Steve Garvey in the Los Angeles fourth. One hopper for Phil Garner at second. Costa Cedeno is in time, and Landreau is the first out of the Dodger fourth.
Well, he hit the ball well. Lopes hit the ball well to end the last inning, a line drive to Cedeno, but both of them retired, and Ryan, it seems like in the last few innings, is either pitching the guy very well and getting the weak shots, or else when they hit it hard, it goes right to somebody.
Here's Dusty Baker. Strike call. One and one.
Here's a changeup. That's the first one he's thrown tonight. It's the fourth inning.
Well, one about every 4 innings or so. That's about right.
Just enough to keep him honest.
1 and 2.
Follows that up with a fastball up and in, and Baker fails to get around on it.
Bouncer for Garcia. To Cedeno. Baker is the second out.
Sometimes a pitcher will do that intentionally. He'll maybe have a third best pitch, be it a curveball, a slider, a changeup, whatever it is. If it's not a real good pitch for him, he may throw it out of the strike zone on purpose. He doesn't want to throw it for a strike. He doesn't want the hitter to have a chance to hit it. He just wants to show it to him and make him think about it a little bit.
Here's Steve Garvey. Ball one. Then once you start thinking about anything off speed against a fellow like Ryan, you're in big trouble.
I think if I went up there, I'd just guess fastball and strike out on anything else.
2-0. Are you saying you wouldn't strike out on the fastball?
I was just getting ready to say that's not to say that I wouldn't strike out on a fastball, but I'd at least have my rips on it.
Ground ball, and look at that. Ryan to Cedeno, and that retires the side. 8 straight retired by Ryan. Bottom of the fourth inning coming up, no score. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Astros with another look at Valenzuela. Phil Garner will lead off. Garner, Scott, and then Cruz. 1 hit off Valenzuela. Single to center by Cedeno with 1 out in the second inning.
Garner's been doing a reasonably good job getting on base, even though he's only hitting around 250 this year. He's picking up quite a few walks since hitting out of that second slot for the Astros.
Ground ball. Russell. That's short. To Garvey. So Garner on the first pitch in the fourth inning bounces out, bringing up Tony Scott. Scott was called out on strikes his first time. Bounces this one to Guerrero. Guerrero across to Garvey, 2 gone. Guerrero has handled both chances he's had tonight. Ground ball by Garcia and that one by Scott. Neither of them especially difficult, but he has had his problems at third base since filling in for the injured Ron Say.
The problems we saw him have were mostly on the routine balls. He made a couple of good plays on tough chances.
Jose Cruz up there, and he takes a strike. Cruz flied out to Baker and left in the second inning. He's behind now, 2 strikes.
Look at that Valenzuela curveball. It's actually a bigger breaking pitch than the screwball, and I think a little bit slower pitch.
And Cruz called out on strikes in a quick inning. Astros down 1-2-3, and we move into the 5th, scoreless. Rick Monday. Monday will open the 5th inning. Foul ball back, strike 1. Ryan went right after him that time, and Monday overmatched.
Actually, that's the best place to pitch Rick Monday. If you've got a good fastball, and obviously Ryan does, you want to stay up and in on him. He hits the ball away from him real well. He hits the ball left center real well and with distance. And he hits the off-speed pitches and breaking balls pretty well. If you can handcuff him with a good fastball, I think that's about your best bet.
2 strikes the count. Up and in, he missed. 1-2. Monday out on strikes. Ryan up there after him again. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Nolan. First out of the 5th inning. He's retired 9 in a row now.
Take a look at this swing by Monday. You can see the power he generates, but you can also see that he was just a little bit tardy.
This is Pedro Guerrero. Breaking ball to Dandy. Ball strike. Ryan, during his no-hitter, had his fastball clocked up around 97 miles per hour. Breaking ball, 1-1, and his curveball was sub-90.
But it was also a real wicked, sharp breaking curveball, and he was able to throw it even when he was behind in the count, and that was the key to the no-hitter.
And to have a curveball below 90 is not unusual. Matter of fact, it's generally going to be much slower than the fastball. There's a dandy curve right there. It's 1-2.
I would say to have a curveball 90 or better would be most unusual. In fact, a few guys, J.R. Richard and well, I don't know of anybody else. He has been known to throw his slider at 90 or a little bit better, but the curveball is a little bit slower pitch than the slider.
Into right center field, Tony Scott on the run for this one. And he's got it. 2 gone. Monday strikes out. Guerrero flies out.
Guerrero shows me a little bit of something, even hitting that ball that far after seeing those 2 great curveballs. He hit that one, a fastball, right off the outside corner and hit it pretty well.
He's probably so glad just to see a fastball that he hit it so well. Here's Sosha. Sosha gets a hold of that one. Poole all the way back on the track, and he hauls it in to retire the side. Sosha laid into that one, but Poole got it. 1-2-3 again. Bottom half of the 5th coming up. No score. Bottom of the 5th inning. Cesar Cedeno will open for the Astros. He'll be followed by Art Howe and Kiko Garcia. No score. Just 2 hits in the ball game. One for each club. Cedeno has that hit for the Astros. Bounces this one into the stands. Foul ball, strike one. Full count on Cedeno.
A good shot of that screwball there. You can kind of get a feeling for what it's like to face Nolan Ryan or Valenzuela when you get that low home plate camera angle. Obviously, the ball approaches you much faster when you're in the batter's box than it appears to on that camera shot, but you can get an idea of how the ball breaks.
And here's the 3-2 to Cedeno. Fly ball, short left. Baker coming in. One gone. Well, both Valenzuela and Ryan have strings now. Nolan has retired the last 11 men he has faced. And that's 9 in a row for Valenzuela. We'll bring up Art Howe. Base hit. Monday with the pickup. So the Astros have a base runner. Second hit of the ball game.
Yeah, just getting a runner on base against Valenzuela is an accomplishment tonight. He has had excellent control and good breaking stuff.
And at first with one out, and here's Kiko Garcia.
That time Art Howe did what you're going to have to do to hit that screwball. He went with it and hit it to right field. Very difficult pitch to pull and do so with any authority.
There's Howe at first.
The Dodgers are set up in double play depth, and Valenzuela likely to try to keep the ball down in the strike zone and try to go with a lot of breaking stuff, breaking down to try for the ground ball in the double play.
Garcia. Astros skipper Bill Verdon flashing a few signals. Out to third base coach Don Leppard.
Hard to imagine what it might be in this situation. I don't think the Astros would send Art Howe.
Howe is picked off at first base. Well, he got out there a little too far, and perhaps the Astros had ideas of maybe the hit and run.
You can see it. Art Howe starts to break. And they obviously did have ideas about hitting and running. You don't have to worry about that now. Art Howe, about the last guy you figure would get picked off, but Valenzuela showing that not only does he have nice moves toward the plate, he's got a good move to first, too.
So the bases are empty, 2 gone, and the 2-2 pitch to Garcia. Strike 3, and that retires the side. Well, we've completed 5 innings in the Astrodome tonight. First game of the Western Division playoff. No score. On to the 6th inning, and Bill Russell will open. Russell, Valenzuela, and then Lopes against Nolan Ryan. So far, Larry, the game has been exactly as billed. A big pitching pair-up.
Yes, it certainly has. Of course, for the Astros, 2 hits, no walks. The Dodgers with 1 hit and a walk. Each have had 2 base runners, and the crowd right now like a slumbering giant. There's nothing to cheer about.
Ground ball, 1 hop to Garcia. To Cedeno, 12 in a row. And out number 1 in the 6th.
Ryan got away with another hanging curveball. Russell hit it pretty well, but right at Kiko Garcia.
Here's the pitcher, Valenzuela. He went out pitcher first in the 3rd.
Healthy rip, doesn't he?
He's headed out of play. You got him. Called strike 3. That's the 4th strikeout for Ryan. 2 have been called third strikes. And it'll bring up the top of the order, Dave Lopes. Lopes is nothing out of 2. Lopes didn't know what to do with that pitch. Strike 1.
Well, he saw those fastballs to Valenzuela, and he thought, well, maybe he'll throw me one. Guess again.
1-1. A breaking ball. 2-1. Ryan has been a lot of fun to watch this year because he's been so methodical and he's had such command of his pitches. Back into the screen. 2-2.
Say it's been a lot of fun to watch at home. Visiting teams and their fans have not enjoyed watching him too much as the Astros have toured around the National League.
Lopes out on strikes. 14 in a row, retired by Ryan. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Ashby, Ryan, and Poole do. No score. Ashby will open the bottom half of the 6th inning. Ashby, the number 8 hitter in the lineup tonight, followed by Ryan and then Terry Poole. Not much doing against either pitcher. You see what Ashby has done over the last month. Finished the season with a .271 average overall. 4-1. Valenzuela, through 5 innings, has thrown 59 pitches. Two and nothing. Ryan, through 6 innings, has thrown 73.
Astros are not a very good walking ball club, but Alan Ashby, one of their best at drawing the base on balls. He'd really like to get on first so that Ryan can sacrifice him over.
Valenzuela misses again. 3 balls, no strikes, the count. Three and 1. Breaking ball, fly ball left field. It'll be easy for Dusty Baker. 1 gone.
Valenzuela doing everything that you would expect a veteran pitcher to do, and just a rookie. Sometimes it's really hard to remember that he was just a rookie the way he pitches. He came with the fastball 3-1. Ashby pretty much taking on 3-1 count, and he threw the fastball in there. And then when he got to 3-2 and he knew he was swinging, he came with a breaking pitch.
Nolan Ryan at the plate, and he swings and misses the first one. Strike 1.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got to have a lot of confidence in that breaking ball to throw it in that situation.
Strike 2. 0-2 now on Ryan. This afternoon, Oakland defeated Kansas City 4-0. In the American League West, ground ball for Bill Russell. And the throw to Garvey's in time. So Ashby and Ryan are retired in the Astros 6th. It'll bring up the top of the batting order, Terry Poole. Poole giving Ryan plenty of time to get back in the Astros dugout after that last at bat. There's Gordy Platson as he gets a little throwing in for the Astros in the bullpen. He was added to the 25-man roster to replace the injured Don Sutton. Poole both times has pulled the ball, hit it on the ground, and he takes the ball. Grounded out to Lopes at second his last time up. First time up, he grounded out unassisted to Garvey at first. One and one. Is a base hit over Garvey's head. Monday will cut it off, and Poole's going to hold at first. Now, Poole had hopes of perhaps stretching that into a double, but ball not hit hard enough to get by Monday, and it gave him plenty of time to cut it off and keep it from going into the corner. So Poole pulls up at first and settles for a single, the third hit for the Astros off Valenzuela.
Another look at the swing. You can see Terry had the reach for that one and still pulled it.
A 2-out single to right, and here's Phil Garner. Pitch out, but the Astros aren't doing anything. So far, this game has taken shape about the same way that Valenzuela pitched against the Astros the last time they saw him here in the Astrodome. They really didn't get to him until the 7th inning of that game. 2 straight pitch outs now for the Dodgers, and they've been wrong both times. Takes it too low. 3-1. There goes Poole, and Garner takes ball 4. Well, the Astros get the first walk off Valenzuela here in the 6th inning. Poole moves into second with Garner taking over at first. 2 outs, and Tony Scott will be the hitter. You know, Larry, Valenzuela had only 1 3-ball count on a hitter going into the 5th inning. He had gone 3-2 to Cedeno in the 2nd before he gave up a base hit. And to open the 5th, he went 3-2 to Cedeno again, and he's had 2 3-ball counts in this inning.
He seems to be getting more and more careful as the game goes along, afraid that 1 run could beat him. That time he threw the curveball with a 3-1 count to Garner. And as I said before, you've got to have a tremendous amount of confidence in your breaking pitch to throw it in that situation.
Here's Scott. He's been called out on strikes, and he's bounced out to third. Swings and misses, strike 1. Tony finished the regular season at 264. 293 since coming to the Astros.
But only 220 against left-handed pitching. A little bit better hitter from the left side this year.
Pickoff play at second, and Poole is back with Lopes taking the peg.
Of course, there's a double motive to that. Obviously, they'd like to pick Terry Poole off, but they also want to hold him real close to second base to give the outfielders a chance in case of a base hit.
Short right center. Lopes out. Might drop. It does. Base hit. Poole scores. Garner's going to go to third, and into second goes Scott, and the Astros lead 1-0.
Well, it wasn't much of a hit, but it got the job done. Tony Scott with a little blooper over second base. Davey Lopes got there, but just couldn't find it.
Single and an RBI. Garner to third. Scott into second on the throw home. Little looper into right center field, and the Astros lead 1-0.
You know, the interesting thing about that, Dwayne, is as you see Davey Lopes trying to find that little pop-up, if there were not 2 outs, Terry Poole would probably have to hold at second to see if that ball is going to be caught. Because there were 2 outs, he was able to run, and he was able to not have to hesitate, and that's what allowed him to score that run.
Dodgers start to get some action in the bullpen. Left-hander Terry Forster and right-hander Tom Niedenfuer begin to throw down the left field line as Tommy Lasorda pays Valenzuela a visit on the mound. Forster, the left-hander there, and Niedenfuhr, the right-hander.
And you could see that Lasorda paid him a very long visit on the mound. Long enough, he hopes, to allow Niedenfuhr and Forster to get loose.
Astros have Jose Cruz coming up. Before he hits, we'll pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Astros Baseball Network. Cruz in there, and the first pitch to him is too low, ball 1.
And now with the base open, Valenzuela can pitch around Cruz if he wants to, but with Cedeno on deck, I doubt if he really wants to.
Big chopper right side. Garvey's got it. He'll make the play himself, and that retires the side. But in the 6th inning, the Astros get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men were left on. At the end of 6, Astros 1, Dodgers nothing. Astros lead 1-0 as we move into the 7th. Ryan with 5 strikeouts and a walk through the first 6 innings. Landreau, Baker, and Garvey in the 7th for LA.
This ought to be a good test for him.
Out of play. Ryan has retired 14 in a row. 1-1. Two. 2-2 now.
Ryan trying to pick up that outside corner for a called strike 3. Came in with the curveball, but didn't quite get back to the corner.
And that's strikeout number 6. 3 in a row. You got Valenzuela and Lopes to end the 6th, and Landreau to open the 7th. Now Dusty Baker, the left fielder, will hit. Baker nothing out of 2. Fly ball to right. Terry Poole is there to handle that one. That's 2 outs. So Ryan is breezing here through the middle and now into the late stages of the ball game. Base is empty, and he faces Steve Garvey.
Of course, we all remember that series in Los Angeles last year where Astros pitchers were just phenomenal into the late innings of ball games, and then the Dodgers would either tie it or win it with 1 home run, and they have that same capability here, although the Astrodome a very difficult home run ballpark.
Long drive to center field. Scott back on the track, and the ball is a home run. It went over the orange line. It's back in play, but it's going to be a home run. And the game is tied 1-1. Satch Davidson went out from second base out into center field to make sure, and the ball did go over the orange line, and Garvey has just tied it with a home run to left center field. More center than left center.
Boy, he's strong. That ball was not even hit that high into the air. Almost a line drive home run and into the deepest part of the Astrodome. Didn't make it by more than an inch or 2.
That's something. Ryan gave up only 2 home runs in 149 innings this year during the regular season. And that a hard line drive off the bat of Garvey and over the orange line for a home run.
Well, he's got some. He gives them up to good hitters. Schmidt, Horner, and now Garvey.
Monday, line drive. Cruz is there in left, and that retires the side. 1 run for the Dodgers in the 7th on 1 hit. Garvey's home run. We go into the bottom of the 7th with the score tied. Dodgers 1, Astros 1. Cesar Cedeno will open the bottom of the 7th for the Astros with the score tied at 1-1. Cedeno, Art Howe, and Kiko Garcia. To Cedeno.
Dodgers are guarding the lines now, first and third.
Cesar with a base hit in the 2nd inning. Last time up, he hit a fly ball to Baker and left. Ground ball, fair ball. He got it by the bag at third. Into that bullpen, Baker with the throw back to second, not in time. Double by Cedeno.
I think that ball got by Guerrero more like a changeup than it did a ball smashed past him. He was standing no more than 2 feet from the line, and for some reason or other, he wasn't able to even touch the ball.
Here's another look. He just missed the ball, that's all.
Plain missed it.
Cedeno opens the Astros 7th with a 2-base hit. And the Dodgers bullpen goes back to work. Dave Stewart, the right-hander, and Steve Howe, the left-hander. And here's Art Howe for the Astros, who singled his last time up. Howe, looper to right field. Monday coming on. He got it. Howe trying to drop that ball in front of Monday. And it stayed up just long enough for the Los Angeles right fielder to grab it.
Well, Howe did exactly what he was trying to do. Monday just made a nice play on it. And Cedeno going halfway to possibly be able to score if it dropped. Had to go back to second base. So Howe did too good a job almost there, and Cedeno left on second.
Here's Kiko Garcia. Cedeno's going, fly ball to center. Landro back to make the catch, and Cedeno gets back in at second base. Garcia made a bid to get that ball over Landro's head, who played a shallow center. But he went back to make the catch, and Cedeno, who was already at third base, had to go back to second.
He made a pretty good call, too, because when he was at third base, he saw Landro going after the ball. And before Landro caught it, he started back to second. And at that time, it was still question in some people's mind, at least there was in mine, whether he was going to get it or not. But Cedeno guessed right.
Here's Ashby. Cedeno still at second now with 2 outs. They're going to walk him to get to Ryan. Well, you'd have to say this is a smart move on the part of the Dodgers here.
It might be the only move.
Nolan Ryan tonight has struck out and grounded out to short. He has 11 hits this year. Finished off the season at .216.
You can bet he'll be bearing down in this situation.
Cedeno stealing third, and he does so successfully. Cedeno with a steal of third. You can see Valenzuela. He didn't know what hit him.
Well, they caught me by surprise.
Dickie Thon did that against Valenzuela the last time the Astros saw him here in the Astrodome. He stole third, that is, and the reason he was able to steal third is that he got such a great jump off Valenzuela.
He takes a long time to deliver his pitches. He's got a pretty good move to first base. And so it probably would figure to be easier to steal third against him than it would steal second. I don't think Alan Ashby's going to be going anywhere.
Still no count on Ryan. There's Cedeno at third. And Ryan takes ball one.
Actually, when you think about it, the move Cedeno made is a one of those moves that unless you're about 99% sure, you don't want to make it, because if he gets thrown out, then Ryan has to lead off the next inning.
Ground ball, Lopes to Russell with a force on Ashby, and that retires the side. Astros out in the 7th. They do not score. On to the 8th, tied 1-1. 8th inning. Astros and the Dodgers knotted up 1-1. Pedro Guerrero, the third baseman, will lead off for L.A., followed by Socha and Russell.
And the Dodgers have Steve Howe throwing in the bullpen now, so if they get to that pitcher spot and they've got something going, they might be thinking about pinch hitting this late in the game.
Strike one.
Guerrero is trying to get something going all by himself there.
Ball, left center field. Cruz on the run, still going hard on the track. He's got it. Cruz hauling in the long fly ball into left center off Guerrero's bat.
A little bit surprising that Cruz had to play that ball. It was way out toward left center and almost more toward center, but Tony Scott apparently shallow and around toward right. Couldn't get there. Cruz went a long way.
He's going to bring up Mike Socha. Ground ball, right side. Cedeno almost got hung up on that ball, but makes the play himself. And that's 2 gone. Back to that fly ball off Guerrero's bat that Cruz caught. It's one of the advantages the Astros have over most clubs is that all 3 of their outfielders, Cruz, Scott, and Poole, have all played center field and could be considered bona fide center fielders. Cruz came up as a center fielder. Obviously, Scott, one of the best center fielders in baseball, and Poole can do a great job out there in center for you.
And all of them with great speed.
Here's Bill Russell. Call strike.
I guess there may be some outfields that have equal speed with the Astros, or maybe perhaps some that are better, but not very many.
1-1 now. Two and 1. Russell with a popper foul. Ashby with a look, but it's going to be out of play.
Ryan's gotten away with a few hanging curveballs tonight, but of course when you've got his kind of stuff, you're going to get away with some bad pitches. That was a hanger to Russell. The pitch Guerrero hit, curveball pretty much in the middle of the strike zone.
Breaking ball. He thought he had the strike there, and about half the Astro defense thought he did as well. I think everybody except maybe the outfield started to move toward the dugout on that pitch.
Let's have another look at it. Pretty close. You're not going to get that pitch every time. You'll get it once in a while.
Full count. Russell, popper into short center. Scott's there for this one. Dodgers are out in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Astros will have the top of the order due. We're all tied 1-1. Astros looking at Fernando Valenzuela with the top of the batting order. Poole, Garner, and Scott. Sent to right for Poole. Terry stroked that ball into right. He was jammed a little bit on that pitch, I think. And he has his second straight hit.
I think he was jammed quite a bit, and you got to give Terry a lot of credit for hitting that pitch, because Valenzuela made the pitch he wanted to make. He threw a good fastball. It was on the inside corner, and Terry just muscled it out into right field. Garner probably be bunting here. Astros, I would imagine, will play for 1 run.
Garner bunt, right side, and it's foul ball.
Running, of course, a very difficult skill to master, particularly when you get a pitcher who's trying to prevent it.
up, foul. Garvey with an effort, but no chance.
You could tell that Garvey was prepared to dive for that ball if he got close enough, but wasn't able to get that close. Now with 2 strikes, the Astros will likely take that bunt off. Garner a chance to hit away. That's a lot of fun, hitting away with 2 strikes, no balls off Valenzuela.
Garner with a fly ball to right. Monday is there. 1 gone. So Poole is still at first with 1 out as Tony Scott approaches the plate. Scott looped that base hit over the head of Davey Lopes into right center field in the 6th inning to drive home the Astro run. Then Garvey homered in the 7th to tie the game. Check swing, hopper. Valenzuela's gone to second to Russell 1. No throw back to first. So Scott becomes the runner, reaching on the fielder's choice. Poole cut down 1 to 6 at second base.
Fastball low and away. A check swing by Scott. And you hope that once in a while a guy will throw one away on a play like that. Valenzuela. If you didn't know better, you'd think he'd been in the league 10 years.
Cruz takes ball 1. Valenzuela due to lead off the 9th. Cruz pops this one out of play. 1-1. Another move over there, a little flip by Valenzuela. A little more in earnest that time.
Scott that time was decoying a break to second.
Toss over there. Astros have picked up 2 steals tonight. And they had Howe picked off in the 5th. Foul ball, and the count evens at 2-2. Scott goes, and Cruz is out on strikes to retire the side. 6 strikeouts for Valenzuela. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. On to the 9th inning, tied 1-1. We've seen the last of Fernando Valenzuela. Jay Johnstone is pinch hitting for the Dodger lefty to open the 9th inning. And the first pitch from Ryan to Johnstone is a strike. Johnstone's batting .205 with 3 homers and 6 runs batted in. 11 out of 38 as a pinch hitter, and a bouncer right back to the hill. Ryan to Cedeno, 1 gone.
Well, Valenzuela certainly lived up to his reputation tonight, pitching 8 innings and just giving up the 1 run, and the Astros are very happy that they're going to see somebody else out there on the mound in the bottom of the 9th.
Davey Lopes will be up there, top of the Los Angeles batting order. Ryan is now retired. 21 of the last 22 men to face him. The only thing he's given up, the home run by Garvey. There's a called strike to Lopes. Two and one.
Well, Ryan trying both sides of the plate with that curveball and can't find a strike either place.
Back into the screen. 2-2 the count. Strike 3 call.
Boy, what a beautiful pitch to Wayne. The fastball appeared to be outside, and it just tailed in at the last minute and caught the corner at the knees.
7 strikeouts for Ryan. 2 2 outs in the Los Angeles ninth. Base is empty, and Ken Landreau steps in. Ground ball by the mound. Garcia's there to Cedeno, and we're going into the bottom of the ninth. 1, 2, 3. Dodgers out in their half of the ninth. Bottom of inning 9 coming up, tied 1-1. Moving into the bottom of the ninth inning, the Astros and the Dodgers all tied 1-1. The Astros have out hit Los Angeles 6-2, and the Dodgers have a new pitcher.
There he is. It's Dave Stewart. Stewart, a rookie for the Dodgers, 4-3 on the year with a .251 earned run average. He's got 6 saves, 43 and a third innings, 40 hits, 14 walks, and 29 strikeouts. Stewart throws very hard.
Astros in the bottom of the ninth will have Cedeno, Howe, and then Garcia. Cedeno takes a strike. Cesar is 2 for 3 tonight. There's Garcia near the line at third. About the same spot he was playing Cedeno back in the 7th when Cesar slipped that double by him.
He'll be ready this time.
Cedeno takes strike 2.
We saw Guerrero move back a little bit, and
boy, if he put down that bunt, he'd really been messing with Guerrero's mind.
He sure would have. And now Stewart's going to try to mess with his.
Cedeno behind on the count, 0-2. And he's out on strikes.
But the good old country fastball there.
Here's Art Howe. Another look at that strikeout pitch to Cedeno. Riding up and in on him. A little bit up, but Cedeno couldn't afford to take the pitch. Out of play, strike 1. Garvey is protecting the line down that right side the same way Guerrero is down the left side. Tie game, bottom of the ninth. Another foul ball looped into the seats, back of first.
So far, Dave Stewart doesn't look like much more fun than Valenzuela. Going very hard. He got the ball by Cedeno, threw that first one by Howe, and then dropped a curveball on the outside corner.
Up and in to Howe. Now with a drive toward right center. Landreau moving over for it, though, and grabs it. 2 outs.
The Dodgers had just moved Landreau from out toward left center a little bit. He was shading Howe to pull, and they moved him around the other way, and that made an easy play for him.
Well, the bases are empty. 2 gone. Kiko Garcia due to hit, but Craig Reynolds is going to pinch hit for it. Reynolds, the left-handed batter, being brought into the game to face the right-hander Stewart. Reynolds, foul ball, strike 1. One and one now. Ground ball, Russell to his left, can't get it, base hit. So Reynolds comes off the bench and comes up with a 2-out pinch hit single. 7 Astros hits. And now Ashby will turn around and bat left-handed against Stewart. Here's another look at the Reynolds single.
Boy, he hit a good pitch. A curveball on the outside corner at the knees. He didn't exactly overpower the pitch, but he hit it sharply and right up the middle.
First time for Ashby batting left-handed tonight. Dodgers have left-hander Steve Howe in the bullpen again. Astros have right-hander Dave Smith throwing.
Of course, Ryan on deck.
Ashby, high drive, deep right field. Down the line, if it's fair, Astros win. Astros win. Home run for Alan Ashby. On the first pitch from Dave Stewart, Ashby gives the Astros a 3-1 victory in the first game of the National League Western Division Championship Series.
Boy, oh boy, Dwayne, after 9 innings of almost no offense, I think that home run almost stunned the crowd. It was unbelievable. Everybody was ready to go on into the 10th inning, and all of a sudden, Alan Ashby just teed off on a Dave Stewart fastball and hit it out of the ballpark right down the right field line.
Reynolds kept it going with that pinch hit single to center. And then Ashby on the very next pitch homers into the mezzanine and right. And the Astros win it 3-1. We'll be back with the totals in just a moment.